Hello, I'm Kochanski, Wilderness Living Skills and Survival Instructor, specializing in boreal forest and in particular the winter and the cold. The one very rare bit of information that I have encountered, and it's not mentioned very often anywhere else, is the definition of dry cold and wet cold. When the temperature is colder than minus 14 degrees Celsius, that's dry cold, because the snow is so cold that it's dry actually, and when it comes into contact with your clothing it tends not to want to melt and soak your clothing. Also, when dry cold persists and you're out there for a long time, the moisture your body produces progresses out, meets the cold that's penetrating your clothing, and frost builds up. The Inuit, with their clothing, with the caribou clothing, they take the outer jacket off, shake the frost out, put it back on, as far as I know, whereas we have to dry out your clothing beside a big fire. When you have dry cold conditions, the colder it is, the easier it is for you to keep your feet warm by wearing nothing but socks. And there reaches a point where when it goes warmer than minus 14 degrees Celsius, your footwear in particular, the snow is touching it, the warmth is strong enough to melt the snow touching it, and the wet footwear now becomes really cold. So you want to wear footwear that is appropriate. And the footwear that's appropriate for dry cold is when you're drinking your coffee and you spill it, you feel the coffee go right through to your skin. That's called dry cold footwear. If you are walking around where the snow is quite warm, your feet will become sodden. That's when you wear rubber boots. That's where you're trying hard to keep the moisture out of your foot, where you're putting on plastic bags over your socks and putting them in your boots, because it's much warmer than minus 14 degrees Celsius.